I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about they broke up with me through text. Well, with the way we have gotten with technology, it's happening more and more.
Yeah.
And it hurts. When somebody sends you a breakup message through text, it is really painful. It's one of the worst ways someone could break up with you, I think. I mean, ghosting is pretty horrible. I mean, I've seen situations where somebody will literally take their stuff and move out of the house, sometimes not even leaving you a Dear John letter. They just leave. I mean, I've seen situations like that over the years.
Yeah.
But, getting broken up through text is really painful, too, because you're just a lot of times in shock. Even if you sense something was wrong, and you often can sense that something's wrong, it just kind of really hurts you that, like, they don't have the decency to have a phone call with you or tell you in person. And it often just leaves you in this state of shock.
Yeah, and I think you were spot on by saying that it's surprisingly common. I think especially now that people are using social media a lot more often, that people are communicating primarily through either texting, messenger, or not either on the phone or in person. So I do think that you guys will see this a lot more often, even in popular media. I know Russell Brand broke up with Katy Perry through text, and that was something that Katy Perry spoke openly about and how hurtful that was.
I know. I would have just ghosted her.
So not even celebrities are safe. And for many of you who are in long-distance relationships, it could be that that is one of the only ways that you communicate, or even if you met online, you might already have that precedent in your relationship to communicate that way.
Yeah.
So it is understandable that you would see breaking up through text. However, it is also a social norm that certain serious situations are to be discussed in person or at least over the phone.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've had a commitment with somebody where you have openly got into a committed relationship with that person, then I think you really want to end the relationship through at least a phone call. I mean, obviously in person would be better, with some empathy and compassion. To enter a commitment with somebody and then end it through a text just is mean. I think it's cruel. You know, it is more understandable if you've just hung out a couple times, gone on some dates, you're just early on in the dating and you're not even exclusive yet, or, you know what I mean? That's more of a situation where it seems fair or more reasonable to end it through texting. But, it does feel like you don't really respect that person if you're ending a commitment or, something more meaningful through just a text.
Yeah, and I think also the way in which you're broken up with also sends a message. And it's also the processing that happens afterwards. Through a text, you can't really have that conversation. It sort of blocks you from being able to have that back and forth with that person or to even react or respond because you just see that message and then that's pretty much it.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how, like, somebody can come into your life like a whirlwind and you get all excited about who they are, and you start to have all these imaginations about what's going to happen in the future, where it's going to go, and the next thing you know, it's over with just a message on your phone, and you're like, wait, what? Like, everything like that I thought was going to happen in this situation is gone, and they've decided to tell me through just a message, you know? And it's like, what is going on with this person? They don't want to, hurt you, or they don't want to deal with any kind of conflict.
Yeah, that could be a big one.
A lot of people really struggle to communicate what's going on with them, I mean, who knows? You automatically take it personally.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, is you think that you did something wrong, when it could be that they're not really ready for a relationship, really, like, because of their emotional struggles with attachment or whatever's going on. Maybe they're hung up on an ex themselves, or, you know, maybe they've liked somebody else that they've known longer than you've even known them. You know, things like that can happen. But, you know, you're going to take that personal, and it hurts because it's like, was I not worth this conversation?
Yeah.
But you got to realize that often it's more reflective of their own maturity level and ability to open up, communicate, process, deal with difficult things.
And it is really important to see why they broke up with you through text and exactly what's going on in their mind. A part of what I mentioned earlier about it doesn't give you a time to react or negotiate or respond, that could be tactfully so. They could have broken up with you through text to not hear any kind of convincing or any kind of lashback. A lot of people might break up, I would suspect particularly women, to break up with men through text out of safety or out of feeling, ooh, I don't know how he's going to take this. I don't know if he's going to be angry. Although it could go both ways with both genders. Safety could be a concern here. Not to say any excuses as to why somebody couldn't, you know, tell you face to face, but it could give context as to what's going on with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think safety is a big one, because a lot of guys lose emotional self-control and can become aggressive or angry or hostile or whatever. I mean, I just had a guy today that stalked the girl several times, and I'm not trying to beat him up about it. You know, I told him, but, you know, you're going to scare her. And he had gone to her work, and then she wished him a happy birthday. And so he was like, where are you at? And when she told him, he just went there.
Yeah.
Right? He just showed up, and she was like taken aback. Like, I can't believe you've just showed up here. All I was trying to tell you was happy birthday. And I'm like, you know, that's going to scare her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful about stuff like that.
True. There is a true fear of how are they going to respond? Are they going to take it well? Will they even accept it? So that's something that you want to be mindful of your reaction to that text. Another thing is that they might have wanted to perfectly craft out their message to you. So this kind of goes back to what you were saying about the conflict avoidance. A lot of people in the moment of conflict, their brain just gets scattered. I mean, it happens to me. It's quite normal. That when you're in a high pressure situation, your brain just doesn't function as it normally would, or you can't think as clearly.
Yeah, when you get anxious.
You can't find the right words. So it might be that they wanted to say exactly what they meant. And it's really hard on the other side to not totally read into every single word of that message.
Yeah, that's a big one. You know, you may not know if there is something else behind it. There could be. Many times people are kind of trying to tell you something at face value. And, you know, you may obsess about, was it this, was it that, was it me, was it this my fault? And it could be really something that you just weren't aware of in their life, particularly if this is somebody new that you're dating. And it's very easy to have your feelings hurt and feel rejected, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I caused this is all my fault, and now they don't even want to talk to me, and, you know, now I don't really know the real reason. And you kind of make yourself crazy. Wondering if there's more to it than that. So do your best to try and understand that if this is somebody that you're dating new, that there are a lot of things that you don't know about them or their life yet or how they operate. So try not to take that personal.
Yeah, and the other thing too is if you find yourself obsessing over those text messages, I know I have been broken up through text, and it is terrible. You just look at that message and you become like a literary analyst to try to find exactly what they meant with everything. If it helps, just take time away from your phone entirely. If every ding you hear, you expect it to be your ex, or if you find yourself looking at those messages or even past messages to see if you can better understand the situation, or just reminiscing or missing them, it might help to just set that aside for a while. So think about that. Yeah. And another thing too is when you do get broken up with over text, is you automatically assume, oh, the relationship was meaningless. Yeah. They really didn't care that much about the relationship to have this conversation in person, or to at least tell me to my face, or even hear their voice and tell it to me directly. So that's not exactly always true. So just because they broke up with you over text doesn't mean that the relationship was meaningless. So it's easy to assume that because we tend to catastrophize and think of the worst case scenario. But it could be, as for the reasons we mentioned earlier, a lot could be going on in the background, could be conflict avoidance. They could have an avoidant attachment style, and that anxiety and those emotional feelings might just be too overwhelming for them. Yeah. So try to put everything into context and not take it too personally, as difficult as that is. Yeah, and we know what we're saying isn't easy. Yeah. Because we've both been there. We know what it's like to feel like that. But the state that you're in, the overwhelmed, anxious state that you're feeling or have felt in that moment, does get better in time. Okay, and you have to realize that. If it just happened to you, realize it's going to get better in time. But, when you're feeling that anxiety and that pain, your instinct is going to be, I want to see you. Yeah. Just like the guy I did the coaching with today. Yeah. Where are you at? And then just shows up where she's at. And he did that 2 times. And I think a part of you also feels, if they see me in person, they're going to change their mind. Yeah. They're going to remember how amazing this really is. Right now they're away from me, so they kind of forgot about it. But when we're in person, it will all magically come together. Yep. Yeah, it's true. And so we're so desperate about bridging that gap, connecting with them, trying to repair it, that we often make the situation worse, because then they become more entrenched in their position. And now you're just going to get them to be colder and colder the more that you push them. Yeah. So you want to give them space, let them have time to process and think about things, and really decide if this is what they want, because sometimes they may have made that decision and then in time realize it wasn't the right decision, because we're humans and we change our mind and we make mistakes and we think things aren't valuable to us or important, and then we see that we're wrong about it, or that we feel differently about it in the future. So, just because they broke up with you through a text doesn't mean that they never cared about you. Doesn't mean that you weren't important to them. It doesn't mean you did something wrong. It just means that they felt it was the right way to do that. I mean, yes, there will be situations where the person just doesn't have any integrity or morals, and they're just selfish or maybe cruel. You know what I mean? There are people like that. Yeah. But in a lot of the cases, it's just that for the reasons we covered, they thought that was how they needed to do it. Yeah, and you have to remember, people are scared. I would say 99% of the time it's out of fear that they break up with you through text. Is that they fear your reaction, not only in a safety way, but just in having that confrontational, serious conversation. So you also want to consider, moving forward, the maturity level of the people that you're dating, of the people that you're seeing. How comfortable are they with uncomfortable conversations? So that's something to think about moving forward. Absolutely. Well, we'd like to see your situation in the comments. If somebody broke up with you by text, what did they say? How did they do it? How long had you been dating? So we can see what's going on, if maybe there's some kind of patterns going on that we haven't seen. It's interesting. I don't think I see that breakup through text very often, but I will make a mental note to start paying attention to that now. Yeah.
If you want to get our help personally, of course, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Margaret is available for Skype coaching. And of course, Coach Victoria will be doing coaching in the future.
I look forward to talking to you.
And so look for her in the future to do coaching. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.